Greetings, Sycamore High School. Today is Sunday, September 29th, and here is your weekly memo. Let's start with the spotlight, and there are plenty that we could spotlight. I want to start out by just shouting out to Aaron Vore. Thank you so much for something I think you started actually 2 or 3 potential years ago, which is just helping our school create the space for a spotlight. You've been doing it consistently, and I think it's just a small gesture that allows all of us to acknowledge each other and just really appreciate you taking a lead role in creating the space for us to build out the spotlight. So thank you, Aaron, for all that you do. I also want to shout out our ESOL department. You guys are crushing it this year. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for all that you do to take care of our students. I'm always willing and ready to step up and assist in the classrooms. Help bring us best practices, testing support, family communication, and just whatever we need to wrap our arms around our kiddos to take good care of them. So thank you to our ESOL department as well. All right, I want to just reflect on our hub procedures. I know that recently we had a staff meeting in which I actually was not present for, but I know we spent just a little bit of time talking about how we visualize and even vision using the hub and even collaboration spaces at large. I think the very best news is we do have what used to be called the High School Redesign Committee. I think it'll be renamed the High School Transformation Team. There's a high quality group of professionals in our building, teachers, counselors, staff members, administrators, that'll be working collaboratively. There's a big meeting coming up, I think on the 4th, which should be Thursday or Friday of this week, to really start to dive deep into that work with high school formally redesigned, this year high school transformation. And I know one of the big tasks of that team is to help us roll out really a long-term plan for how we use the hub in collaboration spaces, not just with best practices according to the research, but what really is practical for us here locally at Sycamore High School, based on our own lived experiences here in Sycamore High School. So in the short term, I'll tell you, we always want to make sure we are creating that warm and welcoming environment for our students to be able to come in and be comfortable and thrive and be successful. So what that looks like in the short term until that high school transformation team can really build that out, it should look like the following: communication with Angie McCavitt at least 24 hours in advance. So let's say you're a study hall teacher or any teacher at large and you want to use that space, please reach out to Ms. McCavitt at least a day in advance. If you plan to send a student or even a classroom to the hub, that'd be a recommendation and something we expect. If you plan to send a student down there and you don't plan to accompany that student, that can happen, but we want to limit that to no more than 10 total students for the time being. First come, first served. And that'll just be a communication between that teacher, that student, and Ms. McCavitt. Please just check in with Ms. McCavitt. In the short term, we'll just use a paper and pencil sign in. We do think we can leverage Minga for this, and we'll create that here over the next couple of weeks. Teachers, again, actually, we'll create the Minga transfer pass here coming up, but we want to limit that to no more than 10 students at a time coming to the hub if they're going to be unsupervised. And the most important thing is we still want that face-to-face check-in with Ms. McCavitt if students are going to be coming down to the hub. We also do have our hallway/hub monitors on the duty bell. We'll be working with those folks individually to start their duty bell and end their duty bell in the hub, just to make sure we've got as much adult supervision as possible to make sure we're always maximizing our safety across the building. So again, long-term, we'll have a team, the high school transformation team, building out more long-term planning. But in the short term, it's 24-hour notice to Ms. McCavitt. We want to cap 10 total students that might be down there doing productive work that maybe are sent by teachers. And then we are going to go ahead and build out a Minga transfer pass system for that here in the next couple of days as well. Okay, let's keep this weekly memo going. Bathrooms throughout the school building. Here's a couple things just to put on your radar. During the morning, most of our administrators are patrolling the hub in the commons. That's where most of our students are located. What you should know is that while class starts at 7:20, we actually open our doors around 6:50 so we can get breakfast started. And our students, by and large, are in the hub in the commons, but not entirely. I'm sure many of you come in before 7:20. You'll notice students in plenty of hallways throughout the building. That's something that we know is going on, and we just have to continue to communicate with each other around how to make sure we're always being as safe as possible. One thing we're going to do is close down that upper crossover restroom in the mornings, just because we've noticed a little bit of knucklehead behavior going on in there. So we're going to close down that upper crossover restroom in the mornings. And in a similar fashion, our administrators are covering lunches for lunch duty. And so we're going to close down the theater restroom during lunches. And all of our students that are in lunch should really be going to the restroom nearest to the cafe. And then if classes are in session, you can still use the crossover restrooms while classes are in session, which is basically fifth bell. Okay, and so we also have, over the past couple of weeks, opened up the restrooms that are on top of the commons. Those ones just recently opened, I think, at the end of last school year, but those ones are now unlocked and available for student use as well. Okay, so PTO special project requests, those are due right now. I'll keep the link in there just to go ahead and put this back on your radar. I know PTO wants to exhaust all the dollars. These dollars are meant to help with one-time needs, something cool, special projects for our students. Please take advantage of it. I know the deadline, I think, is the 27th. Try to knock that out. Maybe they'll squeeze in one last special project request if you get it done today. Another reminder for events and field trips, they should be organized alongside Ms. Gallagher. So please keep that communication going. And another thing that Ms. Gallagher is really doing a wonderful job helping us to organize and lead is some of our Minga just responses and data. What you should have noticed over the past week is we have made some adjustments just based on feedback we received. For example, we had bathroom passes set at 5 minutes originally. That has been bumped up to 7 minutes, which hopefully provides a little bit more peace of mind to students. I know that's some feedback that came in from students and even parents and even staff members as well. So Minga bathroom pass has been bumped up to 7 minutes. Just to share a little data with you, we do see positive trends, I would say, just week over week as far as how many passes are being used. Over the past 3 weeks, the week beginning August 30th, and then September 13th, and then September 20th, we've decreased the amount of passes used on each one of those weeks. We've also decreased the amount of hours out of class, which is basically missing instructional time, for 3 straight weeks as well. And we are continuing to track what we're going to call our high flyers, the students that have used the most passes. And so that's something we can look at from an administrative level, and we'll continue to monitor that accordingly and put together some safeguards to make sure students are being taken care of. Okay. If you have other requests or just concerns or just thoughts on Minga, please share them with myself and Ms. Gallagher. We're happy to continue to get feedback. We want this tool to work for as many people as possible. We'll take your feedback and see what we can get done and just continue to get better week over week and month over month. Let's go through the days of the week, and then we'll get you back to your Sunday program as usual. Something we've already communicated with students and parents is ID cards are mandatory for the school year. And what that means is students will be held accountable, and that will mean we'll leverage our student code of conduct when students are not living up to the expectations. And so we've provided students with recent photos, ample opportunities to take a recent photo, student ID cards with the lanyard. And so we do expect students to wear them, whether it's with a lanyard or with a stretch cord around their belt loop. It has to be an ID card that is on their physical person. So we'll start enforcing that here this week. Obviously, as adults, we want to model what's expected. And so that's a real easy one for us to model as far as wearing your ID day in and day out. So we'll start to really enforce this more strictly here this week. Tuesday, Aves Bell, we have the PSAT meeting in the Commons for sophomores. We'll do that on Wednesday as well for Aviator Bell. But Tuesday after school, we'll have our staff meeting. That'll be exclusively for staff and teacher evaluations. You will want to be present in the Innovation Lab for that evaluation staff meeting on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, Looks like a social committee meeting. And we have a sophomore parent meeting after school as well. And then Friday, Green and Gold Day, we'll have our aviator fights on Friday, and then we'll close out the week accordingly. All right, friends. Thank you all for your time, your attention. Taylor Talks will kick off this week, which is basically just an informal opportunity for you and I to connect about the Bengals, the Browns, school culture, classroom management, school-wide goals, anything that you have on your heart, your mind. I'm happy to just chat with you and just continue to build our relationships. So looking forward to that. I'll put the link in the details for you to sign up if you have not had an opportunity, and we will go from there. With that being said, thank you all for your time. Let's go Aviators.